What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're diving deep into a powerful and emotional story, one that touches the soul and reveals the hidden battles behind the spotlight. This is the untold story of David Phelps, a man with a voice that could move heaven, but also a heart that has weathered some of life's darkest storms. Born on October 21, 1969, in Houston, Texas, David Norris Phelps entered a world where faith, music, and education formed the foundation of life. Raised by Jean and Marietta Phelps, David was deeply influenced by his parents' values. Jean, a business educator, and Marietta, a devoted English teacher, fostered a home where creativity and learning were sacred. From a young age, David's passion for music shone brightly. Whether it was in his local church choir or school performances, his voice stood out, not just for its range, but for its soul-stirring emotion. David's journey took a significant step forward when he enrolled at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, where he earned a degree in music and vocal performance. But it wasn't just musical excellence he found there. He also met Lori, the woman who would become his wife and lifelong supporter. Their love was built on shared faith, dreams, and a vision for family. Together, they raised 4 children: Callie, Maggie Beth, Grant, and Kobe, and through all the ups and downs, Lori's support was David's anchor. In 1997, David Phelps joined the Gaither Vocal Band, launching him into national and international fame. Under the legendary guidance of Bill Gaither, David's stunning tenor voice captivated millions. His time with the group, from 1997 to 2005, and again from 2009 to 2017, brought him awards, accolades, and a place among gospel music royalty. He sang classics like It Is Well With My Soul, O Holy Night, and Nessun Dorma, showcasing a vocal talent that was both technically brilliant and spiritually profound. But David wasn't done. His solo career soared with albums like Revelation, Life is a Church, and Freedom, each blending classical, gospel, and contemporary influences. These works weren't just music, they were ministry. They spoke of hope, redemption, and God's enduring love. Audiences around the world were moved not just by his voice, but by his sincerity. Every lyric, every note, it came from a place of deep faith and personal truth. David never shied away from his beliefs. Christianity wasn't just a part of his life, it was the core of who he was. His music reflected that. His home life reflected that. On his Tennessee property, David and Lori built a haven for family, creativity, and worship. It was in this sanctuary that he recorded many of his live performances, not on a grand stage, but surrounded by family and the peace of home. But behind the beautiful harmonies and powerful performances, David faced struggles few ever saw. The music industry, especially within gospel, is demanding. Endless tours, recordings, and public expectations can wear down even the strongest souls. David often found himself emotionally drained, yearning for peace away from the constant spotlight. While his songs lifted others, he was quietly battling his own weariness. Yet perhaps David's greatest sorrow wasn't professional, it was personal. He began to realize the toll his relentless schedule was taking on his family. The very people who gave him strength were now enduring the side effects of his dream. The missed moments, the emotional distance, the exhaustion. For a man so deeply connected to his family and faith, this was a devastating revelation. When we think of David Phelps, we often picture a world-class voice, sold-out arenas, and unforgettable performances. But behind the music and the stage lights lies a deeply personal story, a story of love, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. At the heart of this story is Lori, David's wife, partner, and greatest supporter. From the very beginning, Lori stood by David's side. She understood what his career would demand: the endless tours, the long hours in the studio, and the emotional toll of life in the spotlight. While David poured his soul into his music, Lori carried the quiet burden of holding everything else together. Even when the road got hard, Lori never faltered. She was his source of encouragement, his home base. But that doesn't mean their journey was easy. There were nights when Lori felt alone, aching for intimacy and connection that sometimes got lost in the whirlwind of David's career. The The struggle wasn't just physical separation, it was emotional distance too. Trying to raise a family while each pursued their own demanding paths created moments of tension and heartache. David wrestled with guilt. He often questioned whether he was doing enough, as a husband, as a father. Meanwhile, Lori bore the silent weight of keeping their home, their children, and their love intact. She smiled through the weariness, prayed through the loneliness, and hoped through the uncertainty. Then came a crisis that shook them both to the core. David suffered a vocal injury, one that threatened to end his singing career entirely. For a man whose voice was his identity, it was a terrifying blow. The physical pain was real, but the emotional agony cut even deeper. Who was he without his voice? In that dark season, Lori became his anchor. She stood by him every step of the way, offering comfort, reminding him that he was more than just a singer. She encouraged him to see his worth beyond the stage. She was the voice that spoke faith when his own had grown quiet. Their shared belief in God became a source of strength. They prayed together. They cried together. They leaned into the promises of healing and hope. Lori reminded David that his identity wasn't tied to his career, but to his faith, his family, and the love they had built together. As David slowly recovered, something shifted. They both realized they needed to be more intentional, not just about healing, but about each other. They began carving out time for what mattered most. Connection. Presence. David started scaling back on his commitments. He chose his family over fame. He learned that success meant nothing if he couldn't share it with the people he loved. And through it all, Lori stood by, proud and supportive, cheering him on as he made changes that reflected his heart. Their marriage found a new rhythm, one rooted in grace, understanding, and resilience. Lori continued to pour into their children, encouraging their dreams while also nurturing the bond she and David had so fiercely protected. Together, they built a life that balanced passion and presence, career and connection. Their love story isn't just about romance. It's about endurance. They've faced storms, moments of uncertainty, loneliness, and fear. But through every trial, they chose each other. Over and over again. Today, David often calls Lori the cornerstone of his life. She's the one who keeps him grounded, the quiet strength behind his success. She's been there through every high and low, offering love, support, and the courage to keep going. Their story is more than a tale of professional success. It's a testimony of love, tested by time, refined by faith, and made stronger by every challenge. As David and Lori Phelps continue their journey, they remain united not just by vows or circumstance, but by a shared purpose and an unshakable belief in each other. Because in the end, what truly matters isn't the spotlight, it's the love you hold onto when the lights go out. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment below, and let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you.